Today we are going to learn about amortized analysis. Amortized analysis is related with finding the average cost of each operation in any algorithm. So we know that any algorithm, when it has a worst case and a best case, so it's a better way to find an average so that it always lesser than the worst case. So in an amortized analysis, the time of a sequence operations is average. There are three methods basically: aggregate analysis, accounting method, and the potential method. So for the aggregate analysis, for all n, a sequence of n operations takes worst case Tn in total. So the time complexity of n operations, let it be T of n. So in the worst case, the amortized cost or the average cost will be Tn by n. So the cost of each operation becomes Tn by n. So we take one example, that is a stack with multi-pop operations. So we push in a stack x number of items, and there can be at most n number of pushes, and each object can be popped only once. So there can be n pops. For a multi-pop operations, there can be when we want to pop till the stack becomes empty. So it is basically big O of n, and the average in this case is big O of n by n is equal to O of 1. Another very interesting example is the binary counter. In the binary counter, we increment each byte by 1. So basically what happens with binary counter, basically it increments each byte by 1, each number by 1. So in this case, if you see, for 0, if the value is 0, it is incremented by 1. So the last bit, the least significant bit becomes 0 to 1. Again, when we want to again increment this one, so the least significant bits again reset, the 1 becomes 0, and the second significant bit, that is the 0, becomes 1. So there is a flipping of bits every time. So from even to odd takes only one flip, but you see from the odd to even, it can take many number of flipping operations. So in here, in the right hand side, you can find the total number of flipping that takes place. So the cumulative cost is equal to total number of flipping pairs. So now we have to find the total cost of all the operations. So you want to average it all. So 0th, or the least significant bit, it flips n number of times, or n. The first significant bit flips half of the time, that is n by 2. The third significant bit, so it flips n by 4 times. Sorry, the least significant, the first significant, and the second significant bit, it flips n by 4 times, or n by 2 to the power 2, that is n by 4. So the ith significant bit will 1 by 2 to the power I, or n by 2 to the power I. So if you want to find the total number, here hash represents number. So the total number of flips are n by 2 to the power I. If you sum them up, so it becomes 1 by 2 to the power I, and it becomes outside. The summation is n for the geometric addition 1 by 1 minus 2. It becomes 2 of n. So the n increments cost big O of n. So for the average case of each operation, therefore amortized cost per operation is O n by n is equal to O of 1. Now we come across the accounting method. So what we do, we assign different charges to different operations. Ci is the actual cost, and Ci hat is the amortized cost of ith operation. So a Ci hat, we want that Ci hat, that is the amortized cost, is always, average cost should be always greater than the total cost for all sequences of n operations. So we want to store the credit for all the average case operations be greater than the total cost of operations, total actual cost of operations, and it should be greater than 0. So it should not never become worse, or it should be always lesser than worse. So in this case, what we do for a push operation, so if we push, the actual cost is 1, but we take amortized cost, we apply actually 2. So if let us say push operation $1, but we double it for the amortized cost, that is $2. That is, we pay for the popping. So if you are pushing, you are actually paying $2 instead of $1. That's because you do not pay for the pop operations. So if you are pushing one number, you pay $2, but you do not pay for the pop operations. So basically, in this way, you prepay the whole amount. In this case, you do not pay for the return trip. It is similar that you are going from college, from a location from A to B, and you pay for the return journey. That is, you pay for A to B and B to A both in once only. So when you are going to B, you do not have to pay for coming to B to A. In this case, the average cost is maintained. For the binary counter, you say when you are setting a bit to 1, you pay $2, but you do not pay for flipping it back to 0 or resetting back to 0. You pay for resetting, you do not pay for resetting. So if your cost for a resetting bit to 0 is paid by credit, so we are resetting the bits to 0 and it is already paid by credit. So at most one bit is set to 1. So the amortized cost is always basically lesser than $2 for each operation. For n operations, the amortized cost is big O of n. Another very important method is the potential method. So like the accounting, the credit is stored for the entire structure. Now it stores the credit for the entire structure, not a single operation. So accounting method stores credit with specific objects. Potential method stores potential for the data structure as a whole. Can release the potential to pay for future operations. Most flexible of the amortized analysis methods. So if DI is the state of data structure of an operation and D0 represents the the initial data structure. So the potential function is basically a potential energy one. So basically DI is basically some real numbers. If CI is the actual cost of operation, the amortized cost is CI plus the actual cost plus the increase in potential or the potential difference between the DIth data structure minus this previous one, that is potential of the DI minus 1 data structure. So it's basically CI plus del of phi DI or the increase in cost. So how does it work? So if you are finding the total amortized cost is summation of from I equal to 1 to n. So we are now summing up summation of total actual cost plus potential of DI minus phi DI minus 1. Now if we are counting from I equal to 1 to n. So in this case what happens? dn minus dn minus 1 for the n to n minus 1. Then it becomes phi cn minus 1 plus dn minus 1 minus dn minus 2. So the previous minus dn minus 1 and this one plus dn minus 1 gets cut off. So only the final values are left, that is dn and d0, the final dn and d0. So the actual cost is computed, or the amortized cost is computed over the whole data structure. That is all the total cost plus the potential, that is dn minus phi dn 0. So if you require phi di greater than d0 for all I, then the amortized cost is always upper bound of an actual cost. So let us see it in practice. So let us see, this is a cost operation. So the phi is the number of objects in a objects in a stack, and phi is the number of 1 bits in the accounting method. So DU is the empty stack, so there are no items, and the number of objects in stack is always greater than 0. So DI is always greater than 0, or phi is equal to D0. So for all I, so push is basically 1. So if the number of elements are S, so after the pushing of one operation, it becomes S plus 1. So S plus 1 minus S becomes equal to 1. So amortized cost is 1 plus 1, you put it up as 2. But for the popping operations, what happens? So if the actual cost is 1, and we are, so this is 1 plus phi del, the increase becomes 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. For pop operation, this actual cost is 1. So S minus 1, so after popping it becomes S minus 1, and initial was minus S. S minus 1 minus S equal to minus 1. So the amortized cost is, that is the actual cost plus the increase, that is 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. For multi-pop operation, it is the minimum of K minus S. So S minus K bar minus S is equal to minus K bar. So K bar is basically minimum of the K and S. So K bar minus K bar is equal to 0. So again, the amortized cost for sequence of n operations becomes equal to big O of n. So finally we come across the bit counter, where the potential is, that is the number of ones after the ith increment. Supposedly the ith operation resets Ti bits to 0, and the potential is equal to number of ones in the after the ith increment. So the cost is basically less than equal to Ti plus 1. So how much is the actual cost is Ti plus 1 means it is resetting Ti bits that is the flipping it happens, that is the Ti, plus 1, that is it sets 1 bit to 1. So less than 1 bit to 1, that is the cost of the operation. So after the ith operation, if Bi is equal to 0, that total number of ones in the byte is 0, then the ith operation resets all k bits and did not set 1. So Bi minus 1, what it does is basically it's equal to Ti, that is equal to k, that is equal to Bi minus 1 minus Ti. So it resets all k bits and basically all ones becomes zeros. So total number of ones is equal to basically the Ti, and your Ti minus 1, that is Bi minus 1 minus Ti. Now if Bi is greater, the number of ones are greater than 0, the ith operation resets Ti bit set 1. So what happens if Bi is equal to the initial phase of the Bi minus 1 is equal to minus Ti resetting plus 1 bit. So in either way, Bi is always less than equal to Bi minus 1 minus Ti plus 1. So the potential, increase in potential is basically 1 minus Ti. So the cost is Ci plus del of phi of Ti, so it is equal to 2. So amortized cost of n operations is basically again O of n. Thank you.